Good Sunday morning. Happy Father's Day. This is Dr. McDaniel. It's June 16th, Father's Day, and it's a gorgeous day here in New Jersey. Started out a little cloudy, but now it's really nice and warm. I feel like I'm in Florida today, so finally. I entitled the presentation today, The Most Embarrassing Problem. Sorry, I'm coming from home today, and we strategically bought our home so that it's walking distance to the New Jersey Transit train station, because I work, as most people who watch the program, I work in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, around the corner from Penn Station, and I wanted a super easy commute. So we were living in Manhattan. We have a apartment, a studio apartment in Manhattan still. But we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, and I said, if we're going to move to New Jersey, I have to be literally walking distance from the train station. So we live in front of the train station. Actually, the train station is, it's behind us. We live on cul-de-sac. There's the train. Woo! New Jersey Transit. So we bought this home, like 95% of the reason we bought this home is because my husband put a gate in the backyard, and there's our backyard gate, and I go out the backyard and I'm in the parking lot for the train station. So rain, snow, sleet, hail, I'm like a postman. I will get to the office as long as New Jersey Transit is running. Now, maybe once or twice a year, New Jersey Transit has to shut down. When they shut down, I'll either get a ride into the city. I hate driving into Manhattan. Or I'll just stay home, because once or twice a year that happens. So if it's on a Friday, I'm not going in. I'm going to stay home. We only do 3 hours on Friday anyways. So hopefully once the train moves on, it won't be too much noise behind me. And on the weekends, it's not a big deal. Train runs each direction. It's once an hour. So I'm sure in probably another 5 minutes, the other direction will be running. So we'll have this all over again, but not so bad. Okay, so as I mentioned in the presentation, today's presentation is what I believe to be the most embarrassing problem. So not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, because I don't know how they have it timed. Oh no, that's the train pulling off now. Okay, so whenever anyone comes to me with this problem, they're like really, really shameful. They're super embarrassed. I mean, nothing else seems to make people so embarrassed as this problem. What's the problem? Can anyone figure it out? It's hemorrhoids. I even had a patient. I don't do deliveries anymore. I did deliveries for about 10 years. Once I had my own kids, I stopped doing deliveries. It's just super duper crazy time consuming. It's really difficult to have family and be by yourself doing OB. So once I was 7 months pregnant with my first child, I stopped doing deliveries. I do first trimester of the pregnancy, and if people have questions or they want some advice, they can come in. I'll do a consultation for any issues with their pregnancy. I still am well read and keep up on the standard of care for obstetrics. So maybe last year I had a patient who had been coming to me for years, and I saw her for the beginning of the pregnancy, first trimester, did the sauna for her, everything was grand, and I referred her to a colleague of mine who is a really good obstetrician. It is a man, and I referred her to him. He delivered my last baby for me, so he delivered my 4th child for me, so I like him a lot. So she started seeing him with the pregnancy. She comes back like around 28, 29 weeks. She's 7 months. I said, I don't do pregnancy this far in. You have to go back to see the OB doctor. What's going on? She said, I'm too embarrassed to see him. What was the problem? Hemorrhoids. I find that people are just the most embarrassed and most shameful when they have hemorrhoids. So she came in because she said she was too embarrassed to have him see her hemorrhoids and to talk about the hemorrhoids. And I've also found not only is it embarrassing, but a lot of people, they don't really clue in that the problem they're having is a hemorrhoid problem. I saw a patient about a month ago, a young girl. She said she had bumps around, she said it was right below the vagina. Of course, it was the anal canal. She had bumps below the vagina, and they were tender and painful, and she didn't know what they were. So they were hemorrhoids. So hemorrhoids are varicose veins. Varicose veins are swollen, dilated, engorged, tender, sore, sensitive veins or blood vessels of the anal canal. So the same way some people get huge snake-like, serpinous, swollen, uncomfortable varicose veins in their legs, they can get them around the anal canal. Those are what we call dependent areas. So we are standing on 2 feet. We're not on all 4. We're standing on our feet, and gravity pulls the pressure and fluids into the lower extremities, but also the anal area is the lower extremity. Your bottom's the lower extremity. So they're varicose veins of the anal canal. And there are a lot of risk factors for, I think it's a lot of risk factors for hemorrhoids. So anything that increases pressure in your bottom is a risk factor for a hemorrhoid. So a chronic cough, if someone has bad asthma or lung disease, pulmonary disease, sarcoidosis for some people, bronchitis is another one, frequent pneumonias or cystic fibrosis, any kind of lung disease or chronic cough, that increases pressure in your abdomen. And anything that increases pressure, oh my God, that's a huge bumblebee. Anything, I don't see it, just flew off, good. Anything that increases pressure in the abdomen will increase pressure in your bottom. And any kind of increased pressure in the bottom will increase pressure in those delicate or sensitive veins around the anal canal, and they can cause hemorrhoids. So chronic lung illnesses, I think most people know constipation. So any kind of frequent or chronic constipation issues where you're bearing down. One is because the transit's long, so you have increased abdominal pressure because the stool is sitting in the abdomen for a long time, so that's pressure. And then when that person has to have bowel movement, they're putting a lot of pressure, bearing down a lot to get the bowel out because they're so constipated. Another one is obesity, so especially essentially central obesity. So if you have apple versus pear, a lot of belly fat, that increases abdominal pressure because you're carrying constant heavy weight on your abdomen, belly. That increases pressure that's transmitted to your bottom and to the pelvic floors. Another one is can be, I guess, environmental or work related. So if you're lifting a lot of heavy materials, so anyone who has maybe a packing job or a moving job, or if for recreational they're lifting a lot of weights, anything where you're constantly lifting, that increases intra-abdominal pressure. So all of those activities, anything that's constantly causing pressure on your abdominal muscles, transmits pressure on your pelvic floor and the anal canal, and those varicose veins, increased pressure and distension will cause them to become those perianal veins will cause them to become varicosities, or swollen and dilated. And when they're swollen and dilated, they're varicose veins, the blood is a little bit stagnant. The blood doesn't flow easily through those veins, so the blood becomes stagnant, and that increases pressure in the vein itself, and they become tortuous and dilated. Oh my God, this bee keeps flying around me. I don't know what the story is. Good God. Oh Jesus, I might have to go inside if this keeps up. So God, it's a fat bumblebee too. I can't, where the heck, let me show this bee. It's humongous. Just flew off. Okay, of course it just flew off. It'll be back to torture me pretty soon. So those veins become varicose. They get dilated. The blood flow is not efficient. It becomes stagnant. Pools a lot. They can get clots. Same way people with varicose veins can get clots. And with increasing pressure, they can become tender and sore because of the dilation and the swelling, and they can cause bleeding because they become kind of fragile and leaky. So with even more increased pressure and clotting and abnormal blood flow, they become hemorrhoids or medical problems. So those are the risk factors. The signs and the symptoms of hemorrhoids are a lump or a bump around the anal canal, or what people say like bumps or a bubbly feeling around the lower vaginal or anal area. Tender, swollen lumps or bumps or pain with having a bowel movement, so it's tender, sensitive. Obviously, any kind of bleeding with the bowel movement, blood in the stool, or pink or blood on the toilet paper, and just inflamed, sensitive area. So those are the signs. People think that they have maybe herpes outbreaks sometimes because it's painful and it's bloody and it's sensitive and it hurts when they have a bowel movement, but they're swollen varicose veins. And on evaluation or an exam, we'll see what looks like varicose veins inside a thin layer of skin. So it'll be a lump or a bubble of skin protruding out of the anus. Sometimes they'll be really large, or they'll be kind of really out at the very, very edge of that external anal canal, but there'll be a tender, sensitive, sometimes red, or you can see it's a little bit blue because of the venous blood supply. They'll be protruding out, sometimes quite swollen. They can be small, like the size of maybe a I don't want to say sesame seed, sunflower seed. They can be like half the size of a sunflower seed, or they can be quite large, like 2 or even 3 sunflower seeds. When someone has quite a bit of those and they're kind of in layers, they look almost like stair steps or levels, and that's why years ago they used to, or some people still do, probably call hemorrhoids piles. Piles are like layers of bubbly tissue. So it's quite obvious on exam they're coming from outside of the anal area. Now, hemorrhoids can be divided into external and internal hemorrhoids. External hemorrhoids are the ones right at the outside that are pooching out or bubbling out of the anal canal. We can see them, they can be felt. And then the internal hemorrhoids are causing the same symptoms, but you can't see them. They're deep inside the upper area of the anal canal. So I'm going to end right there on today's presentation, and I'll come back tomorrow to continue the most embarrassing problem, which is hemorrhoids. Thank you for watching. This is Dr. McDaniel at GYN Corner. Happy Father's Day to any dads watching. I do see a few dads send likes to me, so any men interested in their wives, fiancés, girlfriends, sisters, female, women's health issues, thank you for watching. And also check out the YouTube channel. It's also called GYN Corner. Have a great rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow, Monday morning. Monday Blues. Bye. Thank you.